Oh, yes, Bray Wyatt. Again, you. Signor Benjamin, come here, post haste.
Yes, Mr. Hardy.
Signor, please, retrieve Bray Wyatt's carcass from the lake of reincarnation.
Yes, Mr. Hardy. He's not here, Mr. Hardy.
Delightful. The Great War is over!
Welcome back to WrestleMania. It's the only podcast called WrestleMania. I'm your host, Ricky Needs, as always, joined by Michael Thompson. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm glad you're actually here for a change. And David Yang, what's going on?
I'm also glad he's actually here for a fucking change.
Hey, we're all.
Good morning, everyone. Good moment.
Oh wow, that's really loud.
He's always too loud.
I bring the excitement, boys. I bring
You
the
do.
excitement. Can I
You
start
do.
Oh,
with some news? I want to start with some news.
Hang on,
I want to start with some news.
Before we do,
for fuck's sake. Can't deal with you today. Your inside out fucking shirt.
Wow, way to bury me live on air.
Yeah, I did. Oh my god. Yeah. So, all right. What news? Go.
Can I start?
There's usually a structure to how this starts, but you know.
Oh, I know, but we start with news, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Breaking.
Breaking news.
he's throwing the kitchen sink out the window here.
All right, we're starting with breaking, guys. It's been a huge week in wrestling.
It has.
Huge week in wrestling.
It's
okay?
massive.
And I want to be the one to introduce it.
He's stealing my segment.
I want to be the one.
He is.
okay?
He's stealing your gimmick.
He's stealing my.
Gimmick
Breaking news.
I'm the
Gimmick
news
infringement.
breaker.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, just
Come on.
obviously huge week in wrestling. For ever since August last year, Big Cass has been out with a torn ACL.
Who cares?
And a couple of days ago, he just got cleared for in-ring return.
Don't care.
Huge. Oh, and Daniel Bryan's back.
Don't care. I don't care about Big Cass. Daniel Bryan I care about, but Big
Are
Cass.
you telling me? Oh, are you serious? Colin Cassidy might be the biggest talent in the WWE right now.
I mean, he's tall.
Doesn't mean. Well, therefore. Well, therefore.
He just-
He can talk with his New Yorker accent, his Brooklyn accent, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
But yeah, big Colin Cassidy cleared for return. So that's
well,
exciting, guys.
That's
exciting.
amazing. But you know what else happened this week?
What we just heard.
Daniel Bryan, well, aside from the fucking final ultimate deletion, whatever it was,
Yeah, but
Daniel Bryan got cleared for wrestling.
He did. Before we talk about Daniel Bryan, Yang did not answer my Facebook message this morning. Before you saw Ultimate Deletion, have you seen the other deletions from TNA?
Not all of them, but I've seen like snippets. I'm sorry, I don't watch much. I'm going to be the first one to admit that.
Okay, Ricky, continue.
He just cut your mic. That's hilarious.
So, Ricky, what do you think of the Ultimate Deletion? Because I've shown you some of the Ultimate Deletion stuff from
I've
TNA.
watched. Oh, the headphones are off and he's pissed. Turn his mic back on for Christ's sake. Yeah, no, it was. They really leaned into it, which was good. It wasn't as WWE-ified as I thought it could have been. It wasn't watered down in really any way. It was as crazy as just batshit insane as it was in TNA, which I thought was good. Like they definitely doubled down on it. The funny thing was I heard that they didn't actually show it in the arena.
No.
They didn't show it live, which was weird. So that crowd got a dark match and a Ronda Rousey segment while everyone else was enjoying the ultimate deletion on TV, which is really strange.
That is really strange because even Impact did that as well.
When they did the Hardy compound,
They showed it on the big screen in the Impact Zone for
yeah,
the people out there, which is really
But
good.
when they did like the white compound match and the match at with Randy and Bray Wyatt, they showed both of those in the arena, but this one just wasn't, which was weird,
Strange.
a weird choice, but
Bizarre.
we got to enjoy it.
Yeah. How would you rank that with the Great War and the Final Deletion and the Final Deletion? Like, how would you stack that up against Matt taking on his brother and then the Hardys taking on Decay and then just them doing the entire Impact, the last Impact of 2016, doing it out of the Hardy compound? How would you rate that one, Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy?
It's hard to sort of like recapture that initial magic of like just the mental craziness that was the final deletion, like the first one they did with Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy.
I did mark out though when I saw Queen Rebecca, King Maxwell, Wolfgang, and Senor Benjamin. I did mark out when I saw them.
The best bit was him talking to George Washington during like the pre-packaged stuff. That was absolutely hilarious.
And this is why they got Jeremy Borash into the WWE to help film this stuff.
Him doing it was like helped keep that feel of like the original deletion stuff. So that was good. I dug it. I thought it was really, really well done. Where this goes now, obviously Bray Wyatt is lost in the lake of reincarnation. What he comes back as is a hot topic of debate. I'm voting for Husky Harris.
Also, what do you think of Brother Nero's 5-second cameo appearance?
Yeah, I mean, they said they cut a bit of Jeff Hardy stuff. I don't know how much more he would have done, because it did seem to flow pretty well with him providing that really sort of last minute distraction to help Matt get the win. But yeah, it was fine. Him back with like the contacts in and the big Brother Nero robe was fine. They included Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, which I loved, and bit of Senor Benjamin singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands."
Oh, that was awesome!
Just sort of brought it all together, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was definitely like I could have imagined this being a train wreck that like it just didn't pay enough homage to the original deletion stuff, but it did. It paid enough homage and gave us some new stuff as well, like the wheel of chair, or the chair of wheels, and the mower of lawns bit was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was stupid, and I just want to, like, someone who's never watched wrestling before, I just want this to be like their first experience with pro wrestling. I'm just like, what's pro wrestling up to in 2018? Here, watch this. See what's going on, because it's fucking weird. But yeah, I dug the hell out of it. So it was pretty good. But I think more important news this week is the return to in-ring competition. Daniel Bryan has been cleared to wrestle in the WWE. That opening segment of SmackDown is one of the best segments of television I have seen in a very long time.
And as I said as well, I think that this week has been amazing WWE-wise for both Raw and SmackDown, because just the ending on both shows were just the best that we've seen in quite some time, because the Ultimate Deletion lived up to the hype that it was spraying for so long, and they're like, when we're going to have a Hardy-Wyatt deletion match, it lived up to that hype. And of course, as you said, Bryan getting back into the ring and actually giving Kevin Owens yes kicks, which was the best thing in the middle of the ring. That was fantastic. He did the running drop kick as well into the corner and did the knee. And it was so good to see him yet again just get physical. And it's funny though, because even though he got his ass kicked in the end, Bryan fucking loved that. I betcha he loved every moment of it. He was probably, when he came backstage, he was probably happy for the fact that he finally got his ass kicked.
Would you get back on mic, you fuckhead?
No.
Do it.
No, I've been stiffed, so I'm just taking an hour worth of break now.
No, you're not.
For all the work I've put in over the weeks.
Get back on the fucking...
Underappreciated.
Get back on the fucking mic,
You're
would
a
you?
heel.
I know, so I'm going to do heel things.
Okay, Corey Graves.
You're a piece of shit.
We'll keep talking then.
I full on like that opening segment, like the opening package they had with like him winning at 30 is a cut with him retiring back in 2016. Yeah, no, if you didn't like shed a tear, I mean, you're not a wrestling fan. That was just, it was so well done. And then
I cried when I saw that video again of Daniel Bryan announcing his retirement. I cried at the start. I was crying on Wednesday afternoon at 12:01 when they played the February 2016 package from Raw.
Yeah, no, it was just like
especially that kid who got the video of the kid crying, and all, that got me as well. Just seeing him cry made me cry.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the news when I heard it. I was still awake from work the night before because it got announced at like 5 a.m. our time. And I saw it and I couldn't believe it. So I'm like flicking through because I saw it on, I think Cultaholic reported on it first when I saw it. And then I went straight to WWE.com and they had the article up there. I went to Bleacher Report. I went to Wrestling Observer. I went everywhere just to make sure this was real. This was actually a thing. Daniel Bryan is cleared and he's coming back to wrestle in the WWE.
Tag team match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, like easily the moment that, aside from the pop he got when he came out, because that that was one of the biggest pops we've had for a couple of years.
Yep.
It was huge.
And even the pop he got when, even though when he got back up and when he was pounding Sami Zayn on the mat as well, the biggest pop he got for that, the running drop kicks into the corner, the yes kicks to Kevin Owens. I've never heard a crowd that loud before, and for a very long time at least.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, that moment where he's like, I don't know when or where I'm coming back, and then he just gives that little side glance to the WrestleMania sign, and the crowd just starts chanting WrestleMania, and the crowd were pointing at the sign for him instead of him having to point. Like that, no matter how much you try and WWE's obviously very scripted and the promos and that, but that is like a purely organic moment between a performer and an audience that absolutely loves and respects someone, and it was perfect. And then obviously the segment at the end of the night, him getting beat down, but like that thing, this is like, okay, we've told you that he's cleared to wrestle, but we're now going to show you that he's definitely cleared to wrestle by having Kevin Owens powerbomb him onto the ring apron, just to sort of prove that, yep, he's back. He's taken bumps, some pretty savage bumps too, and when he does come back, it's going to be massive. And if he does actually, because the rumor is it's going to be him and Shane versus Sammy and Kevin at
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. Because you know they're going to build that match up to him getting the hot tag.
Yep.
And
it's going to be him delivering the 1, 2, 3 and him getting the victory.
That crowd at the Superdome where he won the title 4 years ago is going to absolutely explode after Shane McMahon gets him with the hot tag for him to come in and finish the match.
It is now going to be the hottest ticket in town to go to New Orleans for WrestleMania now, only because Daniel Bryan will be competing at WrestleMania.
Well, like I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's like, in January, David, would you contribute, for Christ's sake?
You've been silent for the last 10 minutes, mate.
Yeah, I know, it's weird not having you talk on the podcast.
He's acting heelish as always.
Oh, he's acting like a little bitch is what he's acting like.
Yep.
But yeah, like
he wasn't too happy with me only because of the what happened.
Well, see, when Mike was in charge of the board, you don't badmouth TNA. I learned that a while ago, so you know.
You also don't badmouth and say you haven't seen the whole deletion from TNA, because, like, as a wrestling fan, you need to watch the TNA stuff before you watch the Ultimate Deletion WWE. That's my rule. That is my golden rule.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
It's my golden. I hope you understand. It's my golden rule for that fact, because if you don't watch that, you're going, what the hell is this shit?
The best thing to come out of TNA / Impact in the last 10 years
was
what happened 2 weeks ago or whatever with the Sami Callihan absolutely stiffing Eddie Edwards. Nothing else has been good out of TNA.
Oh my God. Well, his mic goes back off now for the next couple of minutes, and
turn it back on for fuck's sake. But yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, that in January, this WrestleMania was shaping up to be another 32. One that was just like, yeah, there's a bunch of matches on it, but I don't really give a shit about any of them. And like the card looked lackluster. We hadn't really heard anything from Taker. We didn't know about the Rousey situation. We kind of knew that, yeah, the 2 world title pitches were pretty much set in stone. We weren't 100% sure about Shinsuke, but I still had my money on him winning the Royal Rumble to fight AJ. But there wasn't
enough clarity.
There wasn't enough clarity, but there wasn't anything that was like, this is nothing we're not going to see on like a B-level pay-per-view or on an episode of Raw. And now we have potentially John Cena v Taker. We'll see if that, because there was another really good segment this week with that.
American Badass potentially might be coming.
I was legitimately waiting for like a motorbike revving during that Cena segment, but it didn't happen. But we have that potentially.
Because I know Kid Rock is probably going to walk Taker out at WrestleMania.
Oh, fuck off, Kid Rock.
Because if you guys remember correctly, before he did the whole "You've Done It Now, You're Gonna Pay" song, he had Kid Rock's American Badass song coming down to the ring. So, and before Limp Bizkit as well. And unfortunately, it would have been out of Kid Rock or Limp Bizkit. Fortunately for us, Limp Bizkit's in the country right now for the Download Festival, and they're headlining that tomorrow night in Melbourne, which is going to be fantastic, and good luck to them.
Meh.
But I think having at least someone from Kid Rock's past, musically, of course, whether it be Kid Rock or Limp Bizkit, will help shape the American Badass gimmick at WrestleMania.
If they go that route.
I think they will, only because it makes no sense if Taker left his coat and his gloves in the ring and then he comes back out as the dead man. That this shows, well, what was the point
Can
of
we
him?
have a slight gimmick change? Just to play into the Cena promos, the American pensioner comes out in a walking cane, slacks up to his nipples. I think that would be a much more interesting way to go for his final match at WrestleMania. Just comes out literally like I'm looking to retire. I'm really ready to cash in my 401k. I'm done. I think that would be hilarious.
How heelish has Cena's promos been, though?
I don't reckon they're heelish. I reckon they're just calling him out, and he should, because that's the way that obviously this is going to have to go, because in kayfabe, in Undertaker's mind, he retired. He retired the dead man gimmick. He left his hat and his coat in the ring last year, and he's done. And him getting coerced out of that retirement, Cena has to sort of hit some little hard truths home. I don't necessarily think they're heel promos. They're just very, very good Cena promos.
Can I say one hard truth about the American Badass gimmick?
What?
It still etches in my mind, and it is still the most disturbing thing I've ever heard in wrestling history. What Mr. McMahon said to Paul Heyman weeks before they took each other on the Buried Alive match and Undertaker retired the American Badass gimmick. I hope the Undertaker's wife gets raped by a motorcycle gang right in front of the Undertaker. That is the most disturbing thing I will forever take from the American Badass gimmick, is what Mr. McMahon said about the Undertaker and his wife, Sarah, at the time.
Oh, God.
That was the most disturbing thing ever.
Good work, Vince, you dickhead. Would you get on the fucking mic and say that? Get on the microphone. Get on the goddamn microphone.
It is it was the most disturbing thing ever in history. Talk, please.
I miss Luther's aggression.
Thank you. All right, fuck off then.
He had his bit of news. See, he drove all this way to say his bit of news and then sit around for an hour and do fuck all.
What was your news again?
Big Cass.
Oh, Big Cass returning.
Yeah.
Big Cass got officially cleared to return.
All right.
Why are we not hype about this?
All right. Let's go into that for a second.
Because Big Cass is just a talker and he's shit in the ring. No offense to him.
What do you reckon he comes back at Andre the Giant? Battle Royal?
Yes.
Respond on the goddamn microphone, you piece of shit.
No, I reckon he comes back after Raw. After Mania.
At Raw?
Yeah.
Where-
Roman Reigns.
Okay, well,
Of course you'd say it. You wanted to take the Universal Championship and hold that for 24 months.
Is there something wrong with that?
Yes, there's a lot of things.
that means Finn Balor doesn't get to hold it.
There was a lot of things wrong with that. There was a lot of things wrong with the Universal title picture, which I want to talk about a little bit later on
not-
the podcast.
Before we break kayfabe, were we not paying that spot just there where I just wasn't talking?
It was annoying.
It was annoying?
Yep.
So Chris Jericho's return in 2007 was just absolute trash, right? Because he's the greatest ever, yeah? And there it is.
Keep talking.
What? Oh my God. Can this not devolve into chaos, for fuck's sake? Literally. Yeah, good for you, you dickhead.
Stop talking about The Miz and how better he is than Chris Jericho. It's not true. It is never true.
I will put the Miz over for this though. His post on Twitter for Daniel Bryan coming back was fucking brilliant.
Hey, that's my segment. Wrestlers and social media. Don't hack me.
If you're going to talk in the studio, you talk into the goddamn microphone.
All right, let's do
Is my microphone's off?
No, it's on.
Oh, it's on?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know anymore, Michael. You just cut it off every 5 seconds.
Well, put your fucking headphones back on.
Let's talk about wrestlers and social media then for a second, so you can get out of the way.
Get it out of the way. See, now there's disrespect in the studio.
The
right now.
Miz. The Miz.
There's a lot of disrespect in this studio. I bring in some good news with the Big Cass situation. Man is a full-time talent, unlike others who have been cleared, all right, and deserves his spot on the roster.
So you're saying
it's not his fault that Enzo was trash.
So you're saying so you're saying Daniel Bryan is not a full-time competitor. You think he's gonna be competing on a part-time
Last time he
basis?
was a full-time competitor was when he had the goddamn concussion series. And that was 2 years ago. Now, all right, I'm going to play the heel part here for everyone in this
of course
studio.
he is.
What a show.
All right. Daniel Bryan being cleared is a great thing, yes.
Damn straight.
And there's a difference between being cleared and coming back full time. All right. And the man, whether we like it or not, is just never going to be a world champion again. Whether he's cleared or not, WWE has spent 2 years saying to him, Daniel Bryan, you might be cleared by all these guys, but the reason we're not clearing you might not be about the concussions, but it's about you as a person. We want to protect you. And the fact that they've cleared him here doesn't mean they're going, Daniel Bryan, we're going to get you week in, week out, house shows, pay-per-views, week by week on SmackDown, and saying we're going to do these series of bumps and you're going to be a champion again. There's not to say that he's not going to do week in and week out. He's not coming back as a world title main event player. He's a draw, and that's about it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, can I put my 2 cents here?
How do you see him not coming back as a champion?
He can't come back as a champion at this point. It just wouldn't make. If I was a WWE, if I was a WWE booker, yeah, I'd look at it and go, yeah, cool, he's a good guy. But if I was Triple H calling the shots and saying, Daniel Bryan, from what you did before, unless he completely changes every part about his moveset, then Daniel Bryan, the wrestler, still is very, very, very susceptible to all the injuries he just had before. And are you thinking they're going to put him in those spots again and risk?
Yes.
Having Daniel Bryan go through everything?
I think
Daniel Bryan might say that he wants to do it, and Daniel Bryan might lobby and say, I'm okay. But there's a difference between him doing it and then Triple H backstage going, yeah, Daniel Bryan, I guess we're going to put you in the TLC match for the WWE.
Do you know why they cleared him to return?
Through a table.
Do you know why they want to clear him to? Do you know why they cleared him to return? Because I think deep down, WWE wants to re-sign Daniel Bryan to a couple more years on his contract so he doesn't piss off and go to Ring of Honor and tear the shit up in that, or go to Japan and wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And that's great. And giving him the carrot of, yeah, you're cleared.
His contract
is
expires
enough of a carrot. I don't think Daniel Bryan's sitting there going, I'm going to take on Roman Reigns for the Universal title in 7 months.
I don't want to say that.
His contract expires in 7 months. His contract expires in 7 months. WWE, I think right now, Triple H right now, most likely because of the whole Total Bellas thing that's going on, Total Divas, because they want to keep Daniel Bryan around, I think that they are now currently wanting to renegotiate a contract with Daniel Bryan as we speak. And I really
hope that's not the fucking reason, because of 2 fucking reality shows.
I don't think that wouldn't be the Daniel Bryan's a whole commodity. But I'm not saying they're not renegotiating to have Daniel Bryan on for another 4 years, right? In the same way that they had Brock Lesnar on for the last 2 years. Okay, but disregard the world title.
And he's 4 appearances a year.
Yeah,
I
Daniel Bryan is now officially a legend and a draw. He is not going to be the perennial full-time talent that someone like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all these other guys who have stepped up into the place, you think they're okay with... They might be okay now and say, oh, it's a great thing that Daniel Bryan's back. But do you think they're going to be okay when Daniel Bryan's now a full-timer, coming back to the status that he once was, hasn't wrestled for 2 years, and is suddenly thrown into, after WrestleMania, fighting Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE title?
Are you telling me you don't want to see that match?
I want to see it, but I don't want to see Daniel Bryan winning it.
Really?
No. I don't think he should carry the belt.
I think he will come back as a full-time competitor.
Same here.
Of course he's going to want to.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to tell that guy not to wrestle. After so long of being told not to wrestle, if they're going to be like, hey, we're going to bring you back. You're going to be doing the house show circuit. You're going to be doing it. He's going to be like, fuck yeah. I have that many goddamn matches that I haven't had in the last 2 years. I need to make up for.
Bryan versus Styles. Bryan versus Nakamura. Bryan versus Rude.
And I never said, oh, let's not throw him in with big guys. I just said, yeah, you can do these kind of high marquee matches because he's a draw.
Bryan versus Miz. We can finally see that.
And that's a draw. And you can book that for until SummerSlam. But that's not to say that he has to be the IC title going into that match. He has to be the IC champion.
Do you know what I think's going to happen?
I was going
to say,
go.
My bold prediction for after WrestleMania is that I think that The Miz will get moved back to SmackDown. Whoever's the United States champion will move to Raw. Paul Heyman will become SmackDown's new general manager because Brock Lesnar is basically 9 toes out that door.
Yep.
We're going to say he's not 100% out that door. We don't know that.
He's not.
2 years ago, we said Brock Lesnar was out that door, and then he re-signed a week before Mania or something.
He's 90% out that door. So I think that not only will Vince or Shane relieve Daniel Bryan of his duties as SmackDown general manager and make him a wrestler again, but Paul Heyman will become SmackDown's new general manager days after WrestleMania because Paul Heyman is still going to stick around and Paul Heyman would want to be on screen as an authority figure yet again. And plus, I would love to see Heyman and Shane and see how their chemistry works when they're authority figures, only because we've seen it in the past where they've commentated a few matches for like Jacked and Metal and Sunday Night Heat. I want to see what they do when they're, in a storyline perspective, because Paul Heyman will favour the heel wrestlers, Shane will favour the face wrestlers. It'll be a very interesting dynamic between Shane and Paul Heyman. I want to see that happen.
I don't see Paul Heyman sticking around.
No, Paul Heyman's about the business. And
He's about the business, but he also has another business that he runs as well that he needs to be in New York for on a pretty much daily basis.
That's true. Paul Heyman has, up until this point, never been week by week.
No.
Yeah.
Well, at least not in his current run.
Yeah.
So I just don't see that happening.
Who takes over from D. Bryan as SmackDown Live GM?
Bring Mick Foley back. I was a fan of Mick Foley as the general manager.
No.
To be honest.
I don't really care, to be honest.
To be fair, he didn't really like being Raw general manager from what I've read.
I'm kind of sick of the whole
I think
GM.
once again, it comes down to the week by week, and this is what we're seeing a lot now. A lot of people are coming out and shooting on the heavy schedule that WWE goes through.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're an arguable full-time talent taking on the role of general manager and being okay with not being in the ring, not a lot of people are going to be jumping up and down for that.
Yeah, I've got another thing to say as well, really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Just in some other news as well related to takeovers and all that. Rumors are surfacing that once Triple H and Stephanie take over full day-to-day operations of WWE, Triple H is going to offload NXT to Jeremy Borash. So Jeremy Borash will be overlooking NXT.
That's going to be interesting.
But Triple H is training JB.
Thank God. Can we call him JB from now on?
Yes. Triple H is training JB into this mold as a head of NXT. And I think for JB, because of all the stuff I've seen him do in Impact, he's the right man to look after at least the developmental side of WWE, because he looked after TNA's developmental for so long. He was a producer. He was the head booker at one point as well with Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo. He knows the business.
What a trio.
He knows the business in and out. So he knows not to turn NXT into a recycled TNA Impact, because he knows the train wreck that he's had to go through. He was there through the train wreck that happened twice. He went through the Hogan and Bischoff and the Dixie Carter train wreck.
I'm not shooting on Borash. Okay, I think he's going to do a great show over
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop talking out of your ass, Yang.
Double J going into the Hall of Fame. Does he not become number one contender for that SmackDown general manager?
Oh, God, no.
Actually, yes.
You don't low-key think.
Yes.
You don't low-key think. Double J comes out on that SmackDown.
No, not going to happen.
They pulled it on Kurt.
Not
They
going to happen.
pulled it on Kurt.
Actually,
Yeah, but he's an actual legend of the WWE. Jeff Jarrett
Jeff Jarrett's about to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis making him a legend.
Sorry, Ricky. I agree with Yang for once.
Who else is in the fucking Hall of Fame? Oh, wait, that's right. The Godfather?
Yeah. You telling me if he appeared on Raw one night, you wouldn't pop?
Well,
Yeah, the pimp character. That's a good thing to do during the Me Too movement.
Well,
Great idea.
you can't-
Bring the pimp out.
You can't say Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, what do you want to call him? Because he's still.
Why do you
doing
get one of the Dudleys? I say it's got to be a guy from the Hall of Fame, because that's just their thing.
Only because
not gonna happen.
Bubba Ray is still doing stuff with Ring of Honor. He's still
good moment. That's true.
He's still an agent, producer, and he occasionally still wrestles for Ring of Honor as well.
Do you know who the perfect replacement for Daniel Bryan is? Paige.
Actually, I could see that.
I could see it. Yeah, you know what? I'll pay it. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
She's basically Daniel Bryan now.
I think, yeah, no, you're 100% right. I think that no matter what way we cut it, when Daniel Bryan steps down, yeah, it's going to be a huge roaring moment, but whoever replaces him, it's going to be like bittersweet, because it's like, oh, we've just lost Daniel Bryan at that kind
Okay,
of...
I for one am...
I'd say you got to throw it to a heel, for starters.
I'm 100% sick of the whole GM commissioner dynamic already anyway, so I really don't give a fuck who they give
I
it
was
to.
going to say, like, who says Shane McMahon continues after this anyway? Like, it's...
Well, yeah, he's already said he's stepping down.
Yeah.
Because he's sick of it.
Why can't he just take a role much like what Steph does? Steph has only reappeared recently because of the whole Rousey story they're running, and for the big spots like the Women's Rumble. Why can't... Shane's on there week by week. Like... Shane doesn't need to be there week by week.
He was there for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, like Shane theoretically can stay top guy, but then just dip and come back for the big things and make him feel special, like what they've done with Steph. What do we?
Yeah, I guess so.
We are.
I'd have like one little point before we have to swap studios. I have forgotten what my point was.
Wow.
Okay. So my point is, I did have a point.
Okay, good boy.
How is the best story right now not Daniel Bryan coming back and winning the championship he never lost?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to find a way to attack this. Like, there's so many ways.
You don't have to attack it. You
I know because
you can just sack up and agree that Daniel Bryan coming back is awesome.
To be fair, he's trying to find a heelish way to
I'm
approach
not.
this.
I genuinely believe this. Daniel Bryan there's no denying the stock in Daniel Bryan, right?
Damn
As
straight.
a character. And yeah, you could run the angle where it's like Daniel Bryan never lost this, and that's all well and good, and but we need to still keep perspective and a reality around what happened to Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people are throwing it out. They're swept up in the he's being cleared, right? And that's so great, but there's still the reality of his injury and his prevalent past of consistently having this injury.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that can easily change up his style.
Okay, all right, great. And look, if we come back to this a month from now where Daniel Bryan's chained up to his style and is still the exciting wrestler that he once was, then fine. And he can do a month-long schedule, then fine, right? But then that's fine.
I don't think it comes down to him being an exciting wrestler. I just think at this point it's Daniel Bryan. I mean, no matter what style he wrestles, the crowd is gonna love him because he's Daniel Bryan, because he connects to them on such a
But if he can't
personal level.
If he can't wrestle, then he will not
Did you see
Daniel
him?
Bryan. You took bumps.
Yeah, he took bumps and he delivered those bloody running drop kicks like he hasn't missed a fucking
But that's not
step.
a match. That's not. And if we want to watch, and if we're going to watch Daniel Bryan, we're going to watch a match, and we're going to watch 2 to 3 matches. He's going to do 2 to 3 matches a week on a full-time schedule, and he's going to be doing this for a while, right? And it's not to say that Daniel Bryan in his stock alone shouldn't be a world champion, but it's Daniel Bryan as the man and the reality of what his wrestling past was and what he can probably still do and can't do. Daniel Bryan can't be a world champion.
No, but he could be a mid-card champion. That's what I was saying to you.
No.
Make him a Grand Slam champion.
Nah.
Oh, he's either a Grand Slam champion.
He's either a world champion or he's not.
Sorry, he's already a Grand Slam champion. My mistake. He's won all the mid-card titles. He's been US champion. He's been Intercontinental champion. He's been World and WWE champion. My mistake. And Tag champion. My mistake. I'm sorry.
He's a Grand Slam champion. But it's just, I don't see any stock.
Look at the current landscape.
I don't see any point in putting him in the mid-card picture.
Daniel Bryan to win the 2019 Royal Rumble. Make it happen.
I'll be happy with that.
So you say Daniel 19 wins next year's Rumble?
I think
that's fine. If we get a year worth of Daniel Bryan doing matches and using him as the draw.
Do you know what we need? We need T-shirts similar to Kevin 07. We need Bryan 19.
Bryan 9.
Bryan 9.
Nice.
And I'm not disputing your claim that he deserves a world title on his stock, right? But that's you are coming from the point of view of 2014 Daniel Bryan.
No, I'm not.
Where he was a great performance in ring.
I'm coming from the point of view.
You don't know that he can do these things.
I'm coming from the point of view where he has been to that many goddamn specialists, and the WWE has finally cleared him to the point where they say there's nothing wrong with his brain. He has no lingering health issues from the concussions that he suffered back when he was younger to up until a couple of years ago.
And I thought and I'm sure they said the same thing in the NRL in the 90s where the CTE was breaking through and all these wrestlers and all these
NFL, not NRL.
NFL, all these guys, an injury that you can't see until you're dead, but where all these guys had concussion after concussion after concussion, and I'm sure they look at Chris Benoit and forget about him too, where
Andrew Martin,
had done all of these bumps and he passed all of these tests and he's still
back then didn't have like 3D CT scans that you can actually go in
and it's not to say
and
that
basically take not micromillimeter by micromillimeter scans of the brain to see what's going on in there. You didn't
That's
have that
fine.
back then.
But
You do
WWE
now.
is not going to just sit there and go that still based on at the start of Daniel Bryan. Let's look at a snapshot from now to the start of Daniel Bryan's career and say nothing has changed in terms of his wrestling ability, right? But still, at the start of Daniel Bryan's career, we probably would have never said this guy's going to have a series of concussions and retire because we looked at his wrestling and go, he's a great performer. Yet it happened, right? Now we're going to look at this and go, Daniel Bryan's going to compete the exact same way he did before, and we're going to say he's never going to have these. WWE, I don't speak for them, and I don't speak for the doctors, but I know the bookers are sitting there going, Daniel Bryan is not going to compete the same way because we have a series of years worth of Daniel Bryan doing these kind of things and getting injured. We can't predict it. He might have been cleared, but he was cleared last time.
I don't think that
he was cleared after the first one.
My point is, I don't think he has to wrestle the same way to be as over as he was leading up to the win at 30.
He could wrestle safer.
He can wrestle safer.
He can wrestle safer.
Look at Stone
right?
Cold. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. He suffered a massive injury when he broke his neck before his huge push. He had so much limited movement compared to what he could do back as like the whatever the fuck he was, the ringmaster or whatever, through to like stunning Steve Austin. He had a much, if you look at his WCW stuff, he had a much more diverse move set. Owen Hart broke his neck. Accidentally broke his neck. Then he gets the massive push as Stone Cold Steve Austin after that with a limited move set, but it was his character and his connection with the audience that got him over. Daniel Bryan is the exact same way. He can limit the high-flying stuff. He can go back to not taking the brutal bumps that he used to, but the fact that he is still that connected with the crowd and that over, like he is genuinely, I believe, the only, like aside from probably Brock Lesnar, who in himself is a marketable character and performer. That pop he got, no one in the company gets that.
I agree.
No one in the company comes close. Right? He is so
and I'm with
over.
you on the stock. All right, and look, maybe I want to actually wish the best for Daniel Bryan, and maybe in the perfect world he does get that Steve Austin push. But that Steve Austin push came in an era where the only other like-minded individual to Steve Austin was The Rock. All right,
this is before The Rock.
What was it? 97.
Yeah, it was like
WrestleMania 13.
WrestleMania 14.
No, 14 he won the championship.
97?
Yeah, I'm saying like WrestleMania 14 he won the championship. That was the start, the proper start of the Steve Austin push.
97 or 98?
Oh, no,
I thought you meant when he broke his neck.
No. Like I'm saying like he didn't get that big push.
Okay, and then he came back. You can compare him to Steve Austin, but you still have to look at the surrounding circumstances around it. Steve Austin got pushed in an era where Bret Hart was on the outs. WCW was they were still competing against WCW, so they needed to push that kind of character.
Triple H
didn't have Triple H was he wasn't the Triple H that we know though.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was also
he left after 14.
Yep.
But
Shawn
Michaels
you still
was
had
on the out for retirement at that point.
Yeah,
Taker, Mankind.
Yeah, great. And like 3 or 4 other guys, right? We're in a WWE now
Ken
where
Shamrock
there's at least
at one
8
point.
other people ahead of Daniel Bryan who are on that full-time schedule and have been for a while, where you'd argue that they're going to be sitting there going, we're up next, you're not, Daniel. He can't get that Steve Austin push. He's not, in this landscape, he can't. Right? So then you have to say, you're saying to yourself, oh, it's world title or bust. Well, it might just have to be bust because the Daniel
I'm not saying
Bryan,
it's world title or bust. I'm saying it's either world title, don't put him in the mid-card picture. If you're gonna go with,
you don't put him in. You put him in marquee matches.
Exactly.
But they don't have to be anything other than marquee matches.
I'm saying it can be marquee matches. Like I just think he's either full time and he stays in the main event picture because you cannot put him back down the mid card. I just don't see the point of bringing him back just to put him in fucking feuds with fucking Jinder Mahal and Bobby Roode.
Don't diss Roode.
Until he's in the main event picture, I'm going to diss him.
Bobby Roode is. I need to go on a tangent here.
No, until he's in the main event picture and push.
And it's just a shame because after Mania, he's going back down the lower mid.
Exactly.
Right,
until he is in the main event picture as he was in NXT, as they used him correctly there as a heel for one. Why the fuck isn't he a heel on SmackDown?
Jinder Mahal. That's why.
I don't give a fuck about Jinder Mahal. He needs to be a heel because he's a much better character as a heel. He'll be much more over as a heel.
Agreed.
But you
let's go
cannot
back to
have Daniel Bryan go down. He can have, yes, I agree. If he's not going to do a full-time schedule, you put him in marquee matches. You put him against Shinsuke. You put him against AJ. You put him against Finn. You put him against Seth. You put him against if Brock hangs around, I still want to see that match.
Yeah, you said he'd probably get that the first one out of the way.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, like, if he has been cleared as a wrestler, if they have said there is nothing wrong with your brain, there is no lingering effects of the injuries that you suffered before you had to retire, I don't see any reason why a guy, especially a guy like Daniel Bryan, who this is what he loves doing, why he would not be petitioning. I want to come back as a full-time competitor. I do not want to sit on the fence when there's other guys out there performing at house shows, performing every week on SmackDown, performing at every pay-per-view. He's the guy that would want to do that.
Yep. Okay. But then it comes back to the idea that if you're going to say he's next Steve Austin,
I'm not saying he's the next Steve Austin. I'm just saying right now he's the only guy garnering a reaction close to what Steve Austin got during his peak. There is no one else in the company doing that right now.
Can I chuck 3 dream matches scenarios for Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, go for it.
3 guys who I would love to see Daniel Bryan take on. 2 are almost ready to be called up to the main roster from NXT. 1, we might see him back after Mania 34, depending on how his contract situation pans out. I would love to see a D. Bryan versus Neville match, number 1. That would be fantastic to see 2 high flyers. I would love to see Johnny Gargano versus Daniel Bryan.
Johnny Gargano's up.
And number 3, and I'm going to go left field here, only because of the match he had with Johnny Gargano at TakeOver, Andrade Cien Almas. I would love to see Stiff Almas take on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I would love to see. I would love to see Almas take on.
But I think there's other matches that definitely come before that.
But there's the obvious ones, and then there's ones you're just like, that's a good idea.
I think the obvious one they're going to push is immediately Shinsuke right off the bat. If Daniel Bryan returns full time, I argue, well, 1, he stays on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And
AJ goes to Raw.
Shinsuke is WWE champion. I'll give you this. I'll concede that Daniel Bryan can compete for world title, but he should never win it because he should never be the one to hold the belt.
Actually, that could work. Like Bryan could be the one to compete in the world title.
And you can say Daniel Bryan inserts himself into, or maybe works his way up somehow and gets a number 1 contender program with Shinsuke. And that's well and good. They'll put on bouts, right? But Daniel Bryan just will never win the belt. He won't. He'll do a program with Shinsuke and push Shinsuke and do the honors for Shinsuke and really send Shinsuke over the moon. If they're going to buy heavy into Shinsuke, this is how you push Shinsuke. And you feed him to Daniel Bryan.
Because WWE have failed in the past with 2 big Japanese superstars, and that was Kenzo Suzuki and Hideo Itami. They need to not miss the buck with Shinsuke Nakamura.
They're not, and then they're not. They gave him the Rumble, and if Daniel Bryan's on the ups, you'd have to argue that Daniel Bryan does the honors for Shinsuke, right? And at the end of their feud, Shinsuke's the one that goes over, and that really propels him as the WWE champion.
Would you be objected to? Okay, say you did that. Say you had their first match booked for SummerSlam, right? Would you object to a 2 pay-per-view run with the belt for Daniel Bryan? Only for Shinsuke to win it back.
See, for me personally, I love the sound of
that's a no.
I love the sound of multiple time world champions. So to sit back and be like, Shinsuke's a 2-time WWE champion, that's dope. But I still don't think Daniel Bryan can be trusted to run with the belt.
All right, so say we're a year in the future. He's done a full-time schedule, and that's leading up to WrestleMania. Would you have him win the belt?
I would have him win Rumble. I would agree with Michael. If he's done a full-time schedule with a depleted moveset, I'm not saying depleted, but different moveset where we can, everyone backstage goes, Daniel Bryan has no signs of, anything that's going to really kill him. And he's genuinely committed to doing full-time. His body holds up. And if he continues to hold the stock going into Royal Rumble,
going to.
Right? This is where I've allowed myself to break my point down. It's just right now, Daniel Bryan, we should not be sitting here going, Daniel Bryan should theoretically the week after Mania become thrown into the main event, and then suddenly he's like, everyone's sitting back going, he's going to win it, right? No, if a year from now and we're finished with Money in the Bank come July, if we're finished with the huge run and we're coming down to October, whatever the pay-per-views are around then, right? And we're sitting there going, Daniel Bryan's running the lower end of the feuds.
I just realized something. You just said coming towards the end of the year. Daniel Bryan in Melbourne at the MCG.
The good moment. He doesn't win anything. He's
I don't give a fuck if he doesn't win.
All right, he doesn't win anything, but
Daniel Bryan is probably going to come to Australia and we're going to be there.
Yeah,
that's dope. All right.
Ringside too. I was just going to mention, let's for argument's sake, because...
But yes, Daniel Bryan, I would, in perfect scenario, I would have Daniel Bryan finally get that Rumble and then get his other Mania moment.
I was going to say, let's put this in perspective. Let's talk theoretical here for a minute. So WWE want to do the draft at around back. I think Backlash is the time they want to do the draft. Apparently, Backlash might even be the draft night as well. So
Is it going to be a draft or another superstar shakeup? Like, we're talking like full rebuild from this top, or we're talking like 8 superstars?
For all
from each?
intents and purposes, they're keeping Raw and SmackDown as different brands, but they're just combining everything else.
They're combining the pay-per-views, but there is talk they want to do another super. Is it a full draft or a superstar shakeup?
I think it's a superstar shakeup.
Yeah,
So
okay.
let's say this. So at the night of Backlash, I think might even be the superstar shakeup night where superstars as a bit of different because we've never seen this happen on pay-per-view before. So I think that Nakamura and Styles will battle one more time at Backlash for the title.
Oh yeah,
and then after the match, AJ will
when's
be
Backlash? It's the
May 6th.
So the month after
WrestleMania. Yep.
So you're saying
I think Styles and Nakamura are going to have one more title shot against each other, where Nakamura's going to beat Styles at Backlash, and then after that match, AJ is going to be announced as the newest signing for Monday Night Raw, and then
agreed. Yeah,
I don't want it to happen.
Daniel Bryan is going to challenge, because I'm looking down here now. I've got it in front of me. I think Daniel Bryan will take on Shinsuke Nakamura at Money in the Bank, which is held in Chicago.
July?
June 17th. So that means that Daniel Bryan in Chicago will win the WWE Championship of Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, okay.
And then he'll beat him in Extreme Rules. But then Nakamura will get it back at SummerSlam in Brooklyn.
Nope. Disagree.
I don't think he wins it that soon either.
I don't think he wins it at all.
I think Shinsuke is going to hold that belt till at least SummerSlam at the minimum, probably until Survivor Series, because I would love to see Shinsuke walk into Australia for that pay-per-view.
As WWE champion.
As a champion. I want to see that.
Take your bias away from pro Daniel Bryan for a moment and think about it from the logistic booking of Shinsuke. Okay, I'm trying to be objective. Objectively come at it from Shinsuke, the booking of Shinsuke's point of view.
Okay.
He doesn't lose.
No.
He doesn't lose his first feud outside of AJ and drop the belt.
Here's another one.
And if that's Daniel Bryan, you don't drop it to Daniel Bryan.
We have another one. How about Nakamura and Rude fighting for the WWE Championship over the summer over there?
He's not there yet. Rude is not there yet.
I say capitalize on Daniel Bryan, give him to Shinsuke. Have that feud build to SummerSlam. Nakamura beats
then who takes
Daniel
on Nakamura?
Bryan. Daniel at SummerSlam.
No, but who before AJ? Because AJ's going to go to Raw. Who's going to take on Nakamura?
Whoever comes across. They need compensation for AJ.
Yeah.
They'll probably get Seth Rollins.
You run Seth on that.
They'll either get Seth Rollins
Or Roman Reigns.
Not Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
He's going to have that title. He's going to stay. Like, that's the thing with the superstar shakeup. You take your world title your world title holders. They're out of the picture. Then
cards can go,
I'd say the safe ones on either brand. Randy's not going anywhere. He's staying on SmackDown.
Reigns is going to win. Going to hold the title for 500 days probably because
I say Reigns drops in Australia.
They want him to.
Oh yeah.
I say Reigns drops in Australia.
They
get that pop.
They will need a big.
Yeah, there has to be a title change.
Yep.
There has to be a big.
to be a big title change.
Right. If that's a pay-per-view in Australia.
AJ beats Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
I say AJ goes over against Roman in the main
in Melbourne.
Event. Yeah. There, done. All right, easy.
But I reckon Finn is safe on Raw. Randy's safe on SmackDown. Those aren't changing.
Yeah, because I see Miz goes over. Finn stays as IC on Raw.
Oh, you reckon Finn's dropping? Oh, sorry, Finn's winning the IC title.
Yeah.
No. I say Miz retains.
No.
Because I want those two guys out of the fucking mid card back into the main event. I cannot stand them in the mid card picture.
Miz
and Seth.
No, Finn and Seth.
Oh, I meant
Miz retains.
No.
Miz retains.
Because now look at it from Miz's historical Miz. He's already pushing the idea that he's becoming the longest reigning ever.
Exactly.
And he's also one win away from being the most times ever.
Yes.
Two birds, one stone. The WWE is not going to let him compete one and then get the other.
No.
If they're pushing it so heavy, he drops. That's just how it is.
I actually agree with you.
Right?
I think Miz will drop it. Finn's going to win it.
I don't want Finn to be the IC title
because
holder.
I think.
Why are you stiffing Finn?
Because he should be the Universal Champion.
He should be, and I'm agreeing with you. All right, but he should hold something.
I'll say this.
No, that's such stupid book, and I fucking hate this.
Well,
they should just hold a belt. Fuck that. I'm sick of just give him a belt. Just give him a belt.
You don't think
doesn't
he's
matter
earned
what belt
the IC belt? Finn's different. It's different if we look at someone like Seth or Dean and go, oh, their main event, but they really haven't done much, so let's give him a belt. Literally Dean booking 101, right? Finn's different. He's actually done historical, like the longest time in the Rumble. He's done really good matches to warrant a championship, unlike others who have
but
just been given belts.
Okay, at this point, anyone that isn't Miz, they squander with the belt. They do
That's
not do a
true,
good job of booking
and
with the belt.
fair enough,
And
okay.
I will hate if they put the belt on Finn and then he just goes back to fucking 6-man tags on Raw every week and does nothing with the belt. Because
Agree.
I foresee that
But
being the future. If not,
then
if they push him, if they put him back in the main event picture, which they should, then
They got to push the Good Brothers
because I mean,
too.
okay, think about it.
Yeah, I love the Good Brothers.
So do I.
Who is
Doctor?
going after Reigns after he wins at WrestleMania?
Not AJ. I always say AJ.
No, it's not gonna be AJ.
Um,
I say it's Finn. I say Finn should be the first guy to go after Reigns. Even
look,
if
I'm a
even if-
Finn mark, so I'm going to agree with you.
even if he doesn't
I'm willing
win,
to break
even
blanket.
if he doesn't win, I'm okay with that. But him needing he
No
needs
shit, he doesn't
to be,
win, but he gets the rub of.
Yeah, because I think Braun Strowman's the guy to take it off Reigns, and you're going to save that till
Yep.
SummerSlam. You're going to wait till SummerSlam for
Oh, do you reckon Braun? Oh, okay, but this is WrestleMania prediction.
Hold on.
So we'll-
that. No. I'm saying like
I think Braun will
Braun takes it off Reigns.
takes it off Reigns.
I agree.
I was going to say, going back to the hypothetical here for Seth, if Seth goes to SmackDown,
That's fine.
you know what I anticipate for happening on SmackDown towards SummerSlam?
What?
Nakamura versus Rollins for the WWE Championship.
Fuck yes.
A masked man costing Seth Rollins the WWE Championship. Dean Ambrose unmasked himself as the masked man
Yeah, we finally get that.
and smashes Rollins with the steel chair.
I'd put that over. Yeah, I'd put
It needs
that over.
it needs to be a heel.
I'd say he does
Yeah.
that at
He needs
Mania.
But I think he'll come back.
How far away is
I
it?
think he's pretty close.
Nah,
I
'cause
say
it was,
he does it at Mania.
It was torn bicep.
Don't try it. It ain't the worst thing in the
Okay,
world.
torn tricep. That's still like
They'll keep him off TV until SummerSlam. I'd
it was-
say.
I reckon he cost
it was-
Seth at Mania.
well, it was
you got
before-
to come back at you got to come back at SummerSlam.
hang on, back up. It was before Rumble that you did it. It wasn't
before the year, before the start of the year, I'm pretty
They
sure.
said
before the start of the year. That is a 6-month injury.
they
at
said
least.
6 months.
at least.
John Cena tore his pec and he was back in
yeah,
basically
but he's
2
John
days.
Cena.
Dean Ambrose is not John.
Dean
He was back in
Ambrose.
basically 2 days. Like,
Dean Ambrose is an 80-year-old man in a 30-something-year-old body. Like
Yeah,
he is.
Dean Ambrose is not John Cena. Just
look,
Yeah.
we're obviously getting heavy fantasy right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
no,
bring it all the way
that's-
back around and talk
that's-
Daniel Bryan again,
that's
okay?
fine. No. I think we've all made our points.
Yeah, okay.
Is that I think at the end of the day, we are yet to see what this situation is
you.
actually going
All
to
right.
be. I would love it for him to come back full time, just change up his style a bit, because I think the reason he's over with the crowd is not because he's one of the best in-ring performers of our generation, which he is, but it's the fact that he has that true, like, so hard to manufacture connection with the crowd that you only get once in a generation.
Yeah, okay.
You get that with Stone
Yeah.
Cold, you get that with Hulk Hogan, and Daniel Bryan is the next guy to have that.
Not denying it. Yeah.
not denying that.
And I think that keeps him in. Like, if you can have Brock Lesnar win a title being as part-time as he is, then I don't see any reason why.
But Brock Lesnar, like, this is what I'm saying. There's still the reality. Like, you can be cleared, but then there's them saying that on paper you're fine, and then there's the caution they have naturally as a company that if anything were to go wrong,
Yeah,
even
but
if it's the slightest
if you
percentage.
look back at everybody who has had an injury of any sort, I know CTE is a little bit different because it's in the brain. It's hard to sort of diagnose. But like, you look back at everybody right now, Randy Orton is the United States champion. He has had that many shoulder and neck issues going back through his entire career.
He broke his collarbone in a motorcycle accident
Okay.
days before he defended the WWE Championship, which he dropped the Triple H at
Yep,
Extreme
all right,
Rules.
and this is
Yeah.
all part of an era that is very different to now. And if we had to look at something that's very recent, we'd say Finn Balor. All right,
Yeah.
and he has yet to be thrown back into the world title scene.
I know, but
because of caution.
He's been back for nearly a year now with
Yeah.
no signs of any
great.
injury.
And
So-
that's what I'm saying. If we
Yeah,
get
I know.
Daniel Bryan back in a year from now and he's had no signs of injury, then fine. And
I
they'll
know.
do the same.
But you bring back Seth after he busts his knee, still using the pedigree at the time, which I thought was a dumb idea, and have him win the title at Money in the Bank, even though he did drop it 2 minutes later to Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But that is them going like, okay, and then they put him in that huge pay-per-view battleground, the Triple Threat.
Yep.
And he had him doing the Phoenix Splash and all the big moves that take the strain on the knee. It's like there is a reason that they go through all this rigmarole with doctors to clear them, because
There's
you
a
need to be.
huge difference
you need to be
between a
100
person's knee
I know.
and a person's brain.
It is very, very different. But at the end of the day,
Like, let's take my injury, for example. I've had ACL surgery. I'm not allowed to be cleared to do anything competitive.
no pedigrees.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to compete or not allowed to play sport for the next 9 to 12 months.
Yeah.
let's use my example for a moment, because why not?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's
I can use mine too. I slipped my disc a year and a half ago, and I still can't do what I've done before. Like, for starters, everyone experiences things differently too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a huge difference between your ACL, my slip disc, and Daniel Bryan's brain.
I thought you were going to say Ricky's brain.
All right, and Daniel Bryan's brain, and then brains of other wrestlers in the past.
Mine's damaged for different reasons.
Yes. We're not going to purge onto that one.
No.
We might as well talk about NXT while we're at it too, because
Oh yes,
a solid NXT,
So good.
I
It's
thought.
just been a solid week of wrestling.
Yeah.
it has. It's been good. I've liked it being good for a change.
Gargano's revenge. We've seen Amber Moon and Shayna Baszler
did you
become.
see the little segment of him outside Full Sail trying to get in?
Yeah.
Fucking, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. He's like, I just want to go see my wife. Let me in. Come on. I'm not going to punch Gargano in the face. Oh, sorry, Ciampa in the face.
I'm not going to lie,
That's
but
exactly what you're going to do.
they need to build to something. It has to be Ciampa and Gargano
Oh, yeah.
at TakeOver for one reason.
Yeah.
If
no
Gargano
shit.
wins, he
gets
gets reinstated back on NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to do like a... Like
And you run a huge feud. I reckon that, honestly, I said it in the chat, I honestly think they might go 6 stars. All right, I think Gargano and Ciampa at least will be 5 stars. At least
5.5.
If we gave CM Punk, John Cena 5 stars solely for the build, then why can't we give it to Gargano and Ciampa?
What about Gargano
Hey,
and
so-
Almas? Gargano,
It was a good match, but like this one was in a vacuum from bell to bell. CM Punk versus Cena, probably at best 4.5. Right? You throw in.
What about Gargano Almas from TakeOver?
That was 5 stars, but that's one of those really pure 5 stars.
What's the difference-
Something that like
What's the difference between Cena Punk and Gargano Almas?
Punk Cena was all... Like, a majority of it was the build.
Yeah.
it was the build. That's
It was
and
the
that's literally
story.
what I'm saying.
It was everything. That match was the perfect storm
Yeah.
of time, place, and the guys involved.
Beautiful.
Gargano and
Almas?
Almas was just a pure...
It was pure, and that was
fucking,
5 stars.
Like, amazing wrestling
It was the
match.
same thing. It's along the same lines of why every time Omega and Okada put on a 5 stars, it's pure, right? But something like Gargano Ciampa, if we apply the John Cena and CM Punk precedent, build alone, it's 4.5.
Yep.
But we have understanding that both men are really good wrestlers with the 5 star from Johnny Gargano. I say it's WWE's first over 5 stars. And at least gets 5 stars solely on the story.
I think, honestly...
No matter.
I think that match needs to happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a bit of a shame.
It's a WrestleMania
it needs
type
to
match.
be in
It
front
will-
of 70,000 people because like there's just the people frothing that match is just going to be like it is the build to that has been perfect so far. The way they've built it with Gargano leaving, doing his last I loved his
It's a shoot.
his
It's
his
literally
Instagram.
kind of really running heavy on
Yeah.
Punk Cena.
Yeah.
They're breaking the veil of what shoot and work. Like
Yeah.
is Gargano, and you could argue it too. Gargano has been there for a long time. He could theoretically move up, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like he actually might be done with NXT, right? And it's got us on the edge. And at the same time, who wins? Like it's Ciampa's first match back,
But
right? You
Gargano-
say traditional booking, Ciampa wins, right? Like but it's Gargano. If he wins, he gets his career back. But then traditional booking, Gargano wins, but he doesn't need to go back to NXT. Like there's that shoot wall that we just don't know.
Well,
and that's the match.
Can I be honest? I think, honestly, Gargano and Ciampa need the NXT title at least in their program.
Yeah, and that's why I think they still work
And
NXT for a while.
I think the main event of NXT TakeOver New Orleans, it's Gargano Ciampa. I would not put Almas Black. I would not put the tag title. I would not put the Dusty Rhodes thing. I'd put Gargano and
I
Ciampa
agree.
closing that show.
I agree. Whether they do it, I don't know, but I agree. It should.
I don't like that. Title goes on last.
I agree with that too.
Title goes on last.
Title goes on last.
Especially like
he did have a 5 star, so he has warranted abilities. but like,
NXT, aside from the War Games match, they have always stuck to that tradition of either it's the men's title, the women's title,
Or tag titles.
or the tag titles goes on last.
yeah, unless it's a gimmick pay per view. So the Rumble goes on last.
This thing like NXT so far, the only one that wasn't a title match that's gone on last
was a gimmick pay per view.
was War Games.
Yeah, it was War
That
Games.
was it.
Yeah.
It is. Like, I know it's a big feud. It is probably the A story right now in NXT.
I don't even think it matters if it goes on last or not. I think no matter what, people are going to watch it. They don't care if it's the main event.
I don't give a fuck where it is on the card.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
I don't
Only
think
because
he
this is why I see it happening. I think it'll be Almas versus Black. Then it'll be the Dusty Rhodes tag
You
team
think
final.
they open the show?
No. Number
He's going from top to bottom.
So there'll be 5 or 6 matches. So I think match 4 will be the NXT title. Match 5 will be the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic match. Because match 6, I think Zelina Vega will get involved in the Gargano Ciampa match because she.
Oh no!
hates
If
John-
there's,
and then Candice LeRae will come down and
I'm
beat the
sorry.
shit.
No. If that match isn't from belt to belt, just those two men, it doesn't get 5 stars.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Do you know what I'd love to see?
It doesn't, man. I'm sorry.
The
it doesn't.
last
Shenanigans.
The last match to get 4.75 in WWE, which I believe was AJ Styles versus
Cena at
John Cena
Rumble,
at
yeah.
Rumble. Do you know what was great about that match? And
It was-
but no one really picked up on it. But someone mentioned it in
Clean.
in a thing. It was clean.
It was clean.
But they never left the ring.
Ah.
They did not go to the outside
Oh, good moment.
for one
Okay.
portion of that match. And I really don't like matches going on the outside.
I don't like matches where the guy goes for the pinfall every 40 seconds.
Well, yeah.
I hate that.
yeah.
I hate that so much.
I like a good pinning back and forth combo.
I do.
That's good fun.
But if I've hit
Opening
a
5
really
minutes. Opening
good
5
drop
minutes.
kick, and I'm like, oh no, get the two count. No,
Yeah.
no, don't give me that every minute and a half from that point.
But
on.
yeah, it was just it's the last match I can remember where they stayed on the inside. They did not go to the
Did they really
didn't-
not?
No, they never went to the outside. For the entire match, they did not go to the out to the anywhere outside the ring. That's what a pure wrestling match, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I really don't like and I understand the gimmick of it, especially on TV, because someone goes to the outside, perfect time to go to an ad break, come back in, back in the ring.
Pay-per-view's different though. Like you
Pay-per-views are
don't
different,
need
but you don't need to go to the outside. You don't need to. If you got 2 quality performers in there, you don't need to go to have someone essentially sleep on the outside. When it comes to Gargano Ciampa, it depends what the criteria of the match is. Whether it's going to be like a no holds barred street fight,
Yeah.
a hold harmless,
I think
or
it also
unsanctioned
rests
match.
on their abilities too. I think both men can hit really good high flying spots, whereas Cena's more really ground and pound.
Yeah.
It's aside from if Cena were on the outside and AJ were top rope jumping out, that would be the only psychologically justifiable spot.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't have gone for that. Or unless they put him through a table, but that's so well done. And they would have done it with the Strowman Lesnar later on, right? And so it's we don't need to do that. But something like a Gargano Elmas, it's they're both high flyers. We can take it outside because it's justifiable.
Yeah.
It's not for a don't break. It's not for cheap pops with the crowd. It's no, he legitimately is going to do a move off the top because he thinks himself it's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Right? It's justifiable.
I just want to see more matches in WWE where they don't rely on that gimmick of going on the outside so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I like it being inside the 20 by 20, and Stone Cold says this all the time. It's action should happen in between the ropes.
Yeah, I agree.
There should be no need, really, unless there's a story or a spot dictating in the match for them to go to the outside. I find it to be a crutch of a lot of matches in WWE. So New Japan save it for very special.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
things.
It's justifiable.
It feels it feels special. when they
Omega
do it in New Japan.
Jericho, for example,
Yeah.
deserved the outside because
I don't think it deserved all of the outside.
It was a no holds-
spent a bit of time out there.
it was a no holds barred match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
for the most part, the first match they had, the 6-star one, Omega Okada, went outside for a bit.
Yeah.
The majority
It
of
was
the action.
completely justifiable.
Yeah.
They actually, when they were outside, it wasn't a lot of walking around the ring and chasing.
No,
them.
it was
you're
like
outside, I hit a spot.
that huge
You're
drop
outside,
kick.
you're on a chair, I'm on a spot.
the huge drop kick and Kenny going through the table.
Yeah.
And the moonsault, sorry, as well.
Yeah.
But that at that point in the match, you're throwing everything at the wall to try and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But the
That's
majority
what I'm saying.
of
It's justified. Everything is justified.
yeah, exactly. But the
psychologically.
memorable bits for that match were in the ring. The dragon suplex off the top rope, the V triggers, the rainmakers. Everything happens inside the ropes, and I want to go back to that. It annoys me watching especially watching WWE after we've started watching New Japan on a more regular basis.
Do you know,
The pace of New Japan is fucking incredible.
ever since Kenny Omega adopted the cleaner and proper push,
Yeah.
no one's kicked out of the One Winged Angel.
No, and it is the most. But that's the thing. He has only hit it cleanly on Okada once, and that was at the G1, and he won that match.
Yeah.
But he's never hit it.
Yeah. No one is kicked out
He's
of it.
never hit it in a one-on-one non-tournament match with Okada.
And I'm going to say
that's
this
what
as
they're
well.
saving for. That's what they're
It's
saving.
like-
We've already done the Japan booking, and I
yeah,
stand by it.
It's like Ember Moon. No one's kicked out of the Eclipse.
Oh, how did they not?
No.
Nah,
Asuka, surely.
it was a disco.
Oh, fuck. What was the end of that match?
Asuka, surely.
No,
come on.
Oscar put a foot on the rope in that match.
Does that count as a kick out?
Oh, true. That's the yeah.
That doesn't count as a
yeah.
kick
There's
out.
no kick out with the One Winged Angel, but there has been
Foot on the rope.
foot on the rope.
Yeah.
but that's not a kick out.
Oscar,
you know what I'm saying?
Oscar put a foot on the rope.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fair
But
play.
no one else has ever kicked out of the Eclipse.
Yeah, no, it's pretty protected. What are the most protected moves going on like right now?
Oh, the RKO.
I was in RKO is pretty protected.
For some reason, it's being even more protected.
The spear,
No one
the
is
Roman
actually-
Reigns spear is protected.
Oh yeah, it is.
Roman Reigns is protected.
Oh, yeah.
Aside from being in the hospital.
It's protected when it needs to be, but like you've had guys like Braun, even Seth's kicked out of it a couple of times.
Yeah,
Like, it's
no,
not-
what's more protected is the sequence from Superman Punch to Spear.
Yeah.
When those are hit like that, that's game.
I love the fact that the AA has become like a not as protected move.
Oh yeah.
I'm enjoying
the fact that he hit
gimmick of
7
like
of them in the fucking
yeah, but I'm enjoying the gimmick of like he has to go now for the super AA off the top rope.
Yeah. Or does the roll over AA.
Yeah, the double AA. I love the double AA.
I love it.
I think it's a great move. But yeah, like right now the RKO is like impossible to kick out of. It's like
and
you're
Rude
dead.
is a great example because that match just like literally ended out of nowhere, which I think is really great.
Yeah,
He hit one RKO and like that was game.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think of like any other ones that are like.
In WWE,
Has anyone kicked out of the curb
the
stomp yet?
Demon King is completely protected. If we were going to go anything that happens during, anytime Finn comes as the Demon, if he debuts Demon at Mania, he wins, by the way.
Oh, is he coming out as the Demon at
That's,
Mania?
if he comes out as Demon, he wins. I'm pretty sure they're very
odds on,
obvious.
though. Like what are we thinking? Odds on. Like he hasn't talked about the Demon at all.
But this is what I'm saying. It's at a point now where it's become a little bit obvious that if he doesn't bring the Demon, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And if he brings the Demon, it's very clearly protected.
He'll come out as a demon.
Then he wins.
You reckon?
Then he wins.
Yeah.
It's very clearly protected.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's world title match or nothing.
I agree, and I agree it should be something where it's either really, really within the story, like with Bray Wyatt,
Yeah.
or it's world title, like Big Four. But this is Mania. Like, it's not going to...
I know, but it's like if he was going for the world title, then yeah, the Demon's coming out for sure. But it's an IC title match.
I like to believe...
and it hasn't been like unless they introduce it this week on Raw.
Exactly.
I don't see the point in doing it.
I like to believe they didn't actually do
Like
Finn
I would
Brock.
love a WrestleMania Demon entrance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
But
that's what
you're
I'm
not going to
forward-
be against it if it happens with the IC. Like, you say
No,
that.
I know. But
And,
like,
but
it's-
that's what I'm saying is like when that happens, I think at the back of our heads we're going, he has to win because we now are protected. But if he loses, it's the pop. But you're not going to feed the demon
one
to
of
an IC match.
one of the other podcasts that I listen to have been doing like a power ranking of which Balor is the best Balor.
Oh,
Because
with Blue Look.
like the blue trunks, the green trunks.
Blue
the
comes
red
in
trunks.
second. The demon. King.
No. So far, the most protected Balor is Grey Balor.
Oh, really?
Grey Balor has
Wait, he beat Bray. Doesn't he only have one win as Grey Balor?
Yep.
Grayla?
but he has a loss as Demon Balor in NXT.
He does too.
So-
his final one.
Yeah, so,
obviously.
So
Yeah.
far, Grey Balor is batting 1,000.
Yeah, all right.
Every other Balor has a loss.
What a great way to end the podcast on
I
too.
fucking
Talk
love
about
that, man.
That's a good
different
move.
Bellas. Great way to end the podcast about Bella.
Yeah, I'm hoping he gets a push after Mania. I don't want him to win the IC title.
I'm very known as a Bella
We're very here to we're here to plug now. Go for it.
You can follow me at also. You can follow the podcast at all social medias at Strayamania at STRAYA double something. That was wrong.
STRAYAMANIA.
Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. The podcasts are going up on YouTube every week as they go up on audio as well. So check them out if you like your video podcast.
Which is fantastic.
And as always, if you're listening to this, please tell a friend who likes pro wrestling. Tell them to download the podcast, subscribe on iTunes, all that bullshit. You can follow me at Ricky Needs at RICKINEEDS on all forms of social media.
Tomo Media, THOMMOMEDIA.
Boom and yang.
And you can follow me on the grams. I'm going to start pushing the grams.
You are pushing the grams?
I'm going to push the grams on this.
We had a
one.
discussion about this last
We
week.
had a discussion. I'm going to push the grams. You can follow me on the grams _ Yang Kong. YANGKONG. Simple.
Boom.
Beautiful stuff.
All right. Well, we'll
see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.